is Tuesday, July 21st. I forgot what day it was for a second. Tuesday, July 21st, 3 p.m. on the East Coast. I am Mike Trampe, BeatStars Community Director. I haven't been on live in a while. I was on vacation the last week or the week prior and haven't had any shows. So I feel like I'm a newbie to hosting shows, but I'm really happy to be here. I'm rocking out with three incredible producers, two brands, but three producers, as you can see. Tantu Beats, as well as Pink Fader, VIPs, legends in the game. I'm really excited to have these guys on. How you guys feeling?
Thanks
Pretty good. Awesome. Ready to get started.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, it's like I said, it's been a minute. I was hosting like 3 shows a week down to like 1 a month now. So if I'm a little rusty, everybody forgive me, but we're going to get some good information out of these guys. We're going to break down their processes. And obviously the show's name is The Road to 1 Million Streams. So we need to find out how they got to 1 million streams.
How did we do it?
Yeah, it's if you saw the past episodes, you know the stories are crazy, but there's always one theme, and that's consistency, and I'm sure we're going to hear about it today. So yeah, let's just get into this thing. You know, some people are joining right now. What's up, Bufo? Who else is in the house? Piano Beats, what's going on? All right. Yeah, let's get right into this thing. Let's start with you, Tantu. Obviously, I've been a fan of yours for a while. You've been with BeatStars for a while, I think, and you can correct me if this is wrong, but I believe your start date was December 2016. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
yeah.
So we're looking in December. 4 years you've been on the platform, okay?
Yeah.
And in those 4 years, you know, obviously I've had a lot of conversations with you, and we've been a huge supporter of yours, and you've made some incredible moves. And I'm just going through your stats and looking at, you know, what you've done in those almost 4 years. You've put up 312 tracks that are active. I'm sure you've probably sold some exclusives and taken some stuff down, but 312 tracks. You got 1.2 million streams. You got about 20,000 followers. I mean, huge numbers. And it's every show that I do so far. This is the third episode, I believe, we've done, and every person that's been on the show has had over, I believe, 200 beats or very close to it. I think Ann Chamberlain was the only one who was a little bit lower, but he had only been on the platform for like 9 months and had 180 tracks. It's crazy. But
oh wow, that's so cool.
So 312 tracks, man. What, like, let's start with like how you got started first. Like, so when did you start making beats? When did you kind of, you know, figure out like, hey, I want to do this. I feel like this is my calling. And when did you really dive in? Break that down for us.
I started in 2009. I started making beats, and I immediately started uploading them to YouTube because I didn't really have friends to show my beats to. And then I figured that I would just tag them like rap instrumental and stuff, sampled rap beat, hip hop, freestyle, instrumental. And apparently, without me knowing, I was one of the first, or the first generation of people doing that. And from there, I was able to create like a pretty solid fan base. And then in 2011 or 2010, or either one of these years, I created my first web shop, leasing beats. Just like I just featured my YouTube videos on a web page, and I had a PayPal button, and I would send out everything manually. And then, well, years went by, and the business became stronger. Like I got a couple new websites a couple times, and then eventually in I think probably it was like 2015 when you reached out for the first time, and then a year later Abe reached out again, and then I saw like that was like really the huge come up of BeatStars, and I was like, yeah, I just got to tap into this. Like the market's changing.
I was hawking people back then, huh, man? I was on.
I was on it. I declined you and stuff, man. I guess
so many people gave me the closed door, man. But it's all good, man. You're here now. So 2016, you joined.
Yeah.
When did you notice? Like, was it an instant impact? Right? Did you just join, start uploading, and success based on everything else you've been doing leading up, or how did that grow?
So of course, I already had like a quite solid customer base before I joined, because I had already been running my own websites, which I made with a friend of mine. So I already had like an audience. I guess back then I probably had like 60,000 YouTube subscribers.
Oh, wow.
So I already had an audience, but now I was trafficking that audience towards my BeatStars page instead of my home built website. And what I, of course, really did notice is that the marketplace on BeatStars made the biggest difference. That was also for me like the deal maker. I was like, okay, because I felt like BeatStars was really gonna grow from that point,
Hmm.
and I figured I could really tap into like having the benefits of the marketplace as well. So that really increased my sales. And over the years, I feel like it's been a slow growth. Like my whole career has been a very slow growth, but like BeatStars has helped a lot in that growth and finding new customers as well, man.
Hey, listen, man. Slow growth is better than no growth. I stole that off.
Definitely, man.
I stole it off a 50 Cent song with slow do no do, but I changed it to growth. But it may listen.
That's true though.
It is. It listen. It's there's no one way to get to. I mean, if we're talking about just certain goals, the 1 million streams, there's no one way to get there. And everybody I've talked to so far who's gotten there all have a different story of kind of how they've done it. Some have been slower, some have been faster. Some have 800,000 streams on 2 beats. Some have them spread out between 10 and 15,000.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see. You know what I mean? Like how people get to those points. So where were you and where are you directing a lot of your traffic to? Do you have you're using a pro page? Are you using still like a site with embeddable player? Are you driving your traffic to the marketplace? Like, are you using everything? Kind of like what are you using?
Yeah. So I'm kind of embarrassed about it, but I still use embedded player on my website. I built my I don't man it's hard to make changes when something is working, like to change your actual website is kind of hard, but so I'm sending people just to my website tantubeats.com, but of course like with the short URLs we get at BeatStars, like I direct people to these all the time. Like for instance, I will get an Instagram DM like, yo, where can I get this beat? I found this beat there, or I heard this beat on this video, or whatever. And I will just send them a quick link to and that's just to like the whole the whole store, not my pro page, not my own website, but like I sent them a link to the player, I guess.
Oh, that works.
Maybe yeah. So I guess what would work better actually would be to have a pro page set up, of course, and then send them to the pro page, because then you're sending them to an actual website instead of just a player.
Yeah, something else you can do totally cool too, man. And I don't know if you know this or not, or if anybody who's watching knows this too, but if you use the pro page, there's a feature where you can actually add the beats that you want to the cart, and then inside the cart there's a share cart button, and you can literally send it to them and they'll land in the cart. All they have to do is hit checkout. They can still listen to it, they can still review the contract. So listen, the way you're doing it's great. I mean, if it's working, like you said, if it's not broken,
I do use the share cart.
Oh, okay, cool.
People want like multiple beats.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I mean, the stats are amazing. So 2016, you started uploading, started growing and growing. What has been, in your opinion? I know everybody asks for the sauce of how you did it, but we all, in my opinion, it's just consistency, patience, things you've already touched on, in my opinion. But what do you think is the most important thing that you've personally done over 2016 through current day? And
in these 4 years, of course, yeah, man. Consistency. Like I've been uploading. I'm only uploading 1 beat a week, by the way.
Okay.
But I have been doing that for years. So I worked myself into a position where that's just the way my business runs, and it works. So it drives enough new people to my beats, and drives enough people from my new beats to my older beats as well, to like regain value in old catalog. But the most important thing I would say is keep consuming the market as if you are a consumer as well. Like keep looking at other producers and see what new guys are trying to do, and really think about, okay, do I want to tap into this development? Is that something which is gonna last? Does it fit my brand? Does it fit my workflow? Little things, even things like YouTube titles. But also
we're gonna touch on that though, titles and stuff.
Yeah,
at some point.
But yeah, of course I had a couple of beats which hit really well. These were good things I did, which worked for me. But these were also just lucky shots, and you need a lot of shots to have a couple of lucky shots.
I agree. So you're uploading four beats a month. You said once a week, right?
Yeah.
And that works through. It's crazy. Some people upload every day. Other people upload once a week. It blows my mind that everyone's different. All right, so Pink Fader. Now we're gonna go over to you guys now. So looking at your stats, you guys specifically joined BeatStars in August of 2018. It looks like. Does that sound accurate? Okay.
Yep.
281 tracks, 1.7 million streams, 31,000 followers, just about. What have you guys been doing? I mean, that's a lot of tracks too. Listen, in a week, it's going to be August 2020. So we're talking under 2 years. You've almost put up 300 tracks. Followers are through the roof. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, actually, let's backtrack. I'm getting a little excited over here. Excuse me. Let's backtrack a little bit. Where did you guys get your start from? When did you guys? Before the show, you told us that you met in high school. You've been friends since high school, I believe, and you kind of carried that over. When did you guys kind of actually develop that chemistry to make music together, collaborate together, and then obviously form a brand, Pink Fader, and then start selling? I'm interested in that. Like, when did that kind of all develop?
It's two different stories that kind of collided, so I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I guess I'll go first. So I'm Donovan, by the way, and Brian.
Donovan Brian.
But,
got it.
Yeah. So I personally got my start around 2002. I was about 12 years old. My father, he was into music production, and it was something that he tried to take to a certain level, but kind of got caught up with regular life. Taking care of me, taking care of my brother. So his default, not default, but what he spent most of his time doing after he kind of let go of the music production was band directing. So he was a band director for high schools and middle schools in this metro Atlanta area. And it inspired me to get into band. So I got into band when I was about 10. And from there, I just grew an interest in music and how the different parts play together to create a whole sound, particularly in band or whatever. And so I'd pick apart the different music pieces that we'd work on and rearrange them, reconstruct them, and put them back together. And after a while, I realized, the different patterns that you find in music, what chords or whatever, what feelings you can create using all types of different processes or whatever. Long story short, after being in band for so long and kind of figuring out hey, I want music to be a main part of my life. I didn't know exactly how for a couple of years, and I finally came up on FL Studio. Once I found that, I was like, wow, I can actually make something happen, so I started to make beats, and next thing I know, I was working with Pro Tools and mixing and stuff like that. And for me, I was just having fun with it. I was having fun for a long time with it. And I want to say about 2006, I think it was, is when we met in high school. And we had the same class together, and he was telling me how he did music as well. But I'll let Brian tell his story as well. But basically, we met then, and we started exchanging ideas. And I told him I had a studio at the house, and he came over, and we started working on tracks and making songs and stuff. And so those were the early days. The site the brand hadn't been established then. That came to be later on, about 3 years later, 2009. I'm not sure if you guys were, I guess, active back then, keeping track of all of that, but we were called 5-Star Beats back then. So
5-Star?
So we were 5-Star Beats.
For real.
Oh, thanks, man.
There are 2 5-Star Beats, but we were the original. We had the FIVE Star Beats. There was another one with the number 5.
Where does that stem from? What does 5-Star mean?
I really, honestly, it was the first thing that came to my mind. All right, so I'll backtrack. I'll backtrack a little bit. So a lot of that was based on SEO, which was basically like the bloodline of our traffic source in the beginning. I was in college at the time at University of Miami, and I just honestly quickly realized that's not where I wanted to be. That's for me, that didn't fulfill me in the different degrees I was trying to work towards. I even imagined myself having the degree, having the successful job, having the income, and I still didn't feel satisfied. And I was like, there's something else here. I have to figure something out. And I finally told my parents, like, hey, like I think I want to like really do this full time. I'm not going back after my second year. So then I quickly just I went into madman mode, and I was like, what do I have to do to get this going? So the first thing I did was I looked up how to sell beats online, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Postman, but I found him back then, and man, he he lit a fire under me. And so after that, I kind of like really locked in, and I started to look up ways to get traffic and build a business and build a brand online. And SEO, search engine optimization, was one of those things that stood out to me. So from there, I just did a bunch of research and kind of became a geek over it, and learned how to rank websites in Google. And the first thing that kind of really popped it off, and this ties into the 5-star beats, I realized that you had to, we didn't have to, it just helped if whatever keywords you wanted to rank for were obviously in the name of your domain or your brand. And so I think it was some song out at the time, like 5-Star Chick or something. It was just relevant. It was hot at the time. For me, the brand name wasn't as important. I just wanted to get the site up and get the music out. So I 5-Star Beats was open, and it had the word beats in there. And so that worked out, and learned how to rank for certain keywords like buy beats and beats for sale. And so that kind of started the initial traffic surge or whatever. And after kind of figured that out, ventured into Facebook ads and all kind of other things, which we'll probably touch on later. But yeah, that's pretty much that story. Got started around 2002, met Brian 2006, and 2009 we started 5-Star Beats, and then 2016 was the switch.
To Pink Fader,
Yeah, 2016, and for
right before we put everything on BeatStars. Yep.
And then pretty much up until that point, SEO had kind of been that main source for us. That was our go-to, if you will. That's the area I guess we had to stay consistent in, because like you said, consistency is very important.
It is
very important, and for us, we had to learn what to be consistent with.
I think most people think when you say consistency, it's just like beats, but we're more just on the analytical side, just looking at analytics and seeing what people.
You guys. No, you're good. You guys both touched on something that I think is really important. Hopefully, everybody was paying attention. But both of you guys have all three of you guys have both brands just talked about doing research pretty much. And I think that's something a lot of people skip over, which I think is just not smart. If there's something you don't know about, just invest time. If it's an hour a day, just do it and just learn as much as you can.
For sure.
Anything that I get involved with that's outside of this music business, I don't jump in until I've literally done probably 1,000 hours of research, or maybe less than that. But I just go in and I literally just watch. I sit back and I watch, and I just gather information. And we do it here at BeatStars when it comes to playlisting and a ton of different stuff. We check charts, we check album releases, we check who's doing what. Like, I want to know who everybody is and what they're doing, and to be ahead of the curve, not behind it or not in line with it. I want to be ahead of it. So I think both brands here have touched on the research aspect and learning and kind of adjusting and just being ahead of the curve. So I think that's really, really dope. I have a question after Brian breaks down kind of his story, but I have a question about the name change, because you were very specific about beats in the title, and now you obviously don't have beats in the title. So, but you have a color, and I think a color is a thing. We're going to talk about that. But Brian, go ahead, man. Tell us your story.
So back in 2004, I was sitting in a classroom, and we didn't have a teacher, didn't have a substitute. And I remember looking to my left, and one of my friends, I swore he was playing a video game. I was like, yo, what game are you playing? And he looks at me stupid, and he says, I'm making a beat. And I was like, what do you mean you're making a beat? Like, how are you doing that on the computer right now? Like, what are you doing? Anyway, so that was my introduction to FL Studio. That was back when it was Fruity Loops, I think like 3 or 4 or something like that. So that's when I got my start. Made my first beat. It was trash. 2 years later, I'm gonna just fast forward, like 2 years later, we met. And then after high school, 2 years later, we met, and he told me he had a studio. So I came over, and at that point too, I had a weird like mind explosion. Like, what do you mean you have a studio? Because at this time, like people didn't just have like home recording places and stuff. You know, I mean, when I first went over there, we had like the basement. You know, no walls,
no walls.
You know, so that was my introduction to everything. I learned a lot from Donovan too, from like music theory. But yeah, there was a point where, like you said, he went to Miami. I was in college as well, and we stayed in contact and kind of had the same feelings. Like, you know, this wasn't for me either. And we actually applied to a audio engineering school called CRAS, Conservatory of Recording Arts. It was out in Arizona, I believe.
Arizona.
We had to write an essay, got accepted, went back home, and we both looked at each other like, how are we going to go out there? We don't have a job. You know, we don't have anything. Like, there's no way to survive out there.
You looked at the weather too. You're like, oh hell no.
Yeah, we like look. So we ended up not going, and I ended up actually living with him for a while, his parents, and that's when 5 Star Beats started at that time. And I mean, that kind of was kind of how our stories clashed together. I mean, he, you know, told the rest, but yeah.
No, very interesting. So, how did 5 Star Beats turn into Pink Fader? What's the story behind that?
So, well, you know, alluding to what you mentioned about research, after about, so it was about 2009 when 5 Star Beats came into existence, and again, that name had a lot to do with SEO at the time. But we both realized around 2014 that a lot of branded websites were ranking above exact match domains or whatever, or domains that may have certain keywords in them. We'd see other brands ranking above them, and it started to happen more often and more often. And we realized the importance of branding, and we started to notice that Google paid more attention to people who tried to who just had a good brand as opposed to people who were trying to rig the system. And so it made us think, you know, it's like, hey, like, how can we stand out? Like, what can we do to stand out? Another thing too, at the time, I guess it was early on, it was not that many producers had the word Beats in their name. And we did think about Beats headphones, to be honest. Like, we was like, hey, we have visions for this brand. We want it to grow big. We want to, you know, eventually maybe do hardware, software, all kinds of things. And it's like, thinking on that level, you know, that competing with Beats headphones, you know, it obviously be some type of conflict, maybe. So, you know, it was a bunch of different reasons why we wanted to change the name, but definitely just establishing more of a brand as opposed to just, hey, we sell beats. You know, it's more of a brand that connects with artists, you know.
And why the color though? Because I've done some research and read of just about not only colors with using words, but I've done more research on colors and ads. I like that hat, by the way. It's a nice hat. We need pink BeatStars hats, by the way. But I've done research on using certain colors when you're actually running ads too. So there's certain things that just pop more. Did that have any play into it, or am I just overthinking this? Because I feel like it did, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, all right. This is kind of crazy. We were. It was me, my wife, and Brian. We were all in this room right here. Like, man, what is the name? What is the name? It took us about in 2 hours or so.
It was about 5 hours.
Just to come up with the fader part.
Okay,
so we had fader after. We had the
You're
fader
like, pink. We're stuck on pink. That's what we got.
Yeah, well, we didn't have the pink.
We didn't have the pink yet. Yeah,
we had fader. We knew that we wanted the word fader to be in there. It sounds right. You know, it's phonetically pleasing, if you will. But so anyway, we had fader, and for the longest we were like, what can we add in front of it or behind it? And I was eating a gummy bear and it was pink, and I was like, pink fader. It was like it rolls off the tongue. It stands out. And I think too, an underlying, I guess, message behind using the word pink, obviously, you know, as men, like, it's usually unheard of for guys to stand behind, you know, pink colors or whatever. And I think that it's a progressive way to kind of say, hey, it's okay to be whoever you want to be, or say whatever you want to say. And I think if anything, it's more attention grabbing than, you know, anything else. So it was just, it kind of just naturally happened. There wasn't like any Einstein thinking behind it at the time. We just went with the flow in it, and it came out that way.
We did think about pink noise as well. That was not so.
We did, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting story. And ignore that comment that just came in on the right side. I blocked that guy out of here just so you're out reading it. Like, what the hell is that?
Oh, that's all good.
Yeah. I didn't want you guys to be like, what is that? But no, very interesting for sure. So you guys met, you kind of changed names. 2018 comes along. I'm going to sound like a shark, but I think I reached out to you guys too. You guys came over as well. Same as Tantu. What do you feel like is the most important thing that you've done since you've came to BeatStars? Obviously, you had your business intact. You've done a lot of SEO research. You've had a lot of things, lined up that, in my opinion, really helped you out. But specifically on BeatStars, what do you think helped you guys when you joined the platform?
You want to go?
Yeah.
I was thinking
Marketplace.
Yeah. We agree that the marketplace and honestly, as we started to, we weren't even expecting sales, honestly, coming from the marketplace because kind of like Tantu, we have the embedded player on our website, and that's kind of where we funnel most of our traffic.
Yep.
But we started to notice that a good portion of our sales were coming from the marketplace without even doing any extra marketing there. And the fact that I guess just the infrastructure, the framework of the BeatStars marketplace is just very organic. It's easy to kind of get your stuff heard simply if you just upload, even if you're not even running ads or whatever. So that stood out a lot to us. The fact that the artists and the producers were kind of integrated in one platform all together. I think that was huge for us.
Yeah, it's something I tell people all the time. Look at the marketplace as free traffic. You shouldn't solely be relying on it for streams and sales. I know some people may not want to hear that, but it's the truth. And I'm saying that because I want everybody to understand that you have the power to drive any type of traffic that you want. You just have to take the time, the research to know who you should be going after and the right ways of doing it. And that goes back to the research part. Some people, I guess, just jump into it and just expect instant results. But as you can hear from these guys and every other show that I've done so far with the 1 million stream show, it's the same story. It takes time. It takes patience. So I would definitely view the marketplace as bonus and extra traffic. I would not rely on it being your only traffic source. Could it be? Absolutely. I wouldn't, though. I would utilize, if you have a pro page, I would utilize one of the players if you have your own website. I would do ads. I would use platforms like, SoundCloud, YouTube, AudioMac, and these other places that have eyes and ears that are looking for beats and drive them back to your stores. So I just want to kind of make that a point because I think sometimes people feel like the marketplace that's it. They put it up there and they walk away. All right, I'm done. That's it. Could you get sales? Absolutely. But why not dictate and give yourself a better chance when you're really dictating where that traffic is coming from and then obviously doing the research, looking at your analytics. I had somebody hit me up the other day about when's the best time to post. I said, where do you live? I live in the United States. I think it was Central Time. I said, okay. Who's looking? Look at your top 5 beats. Look at where the traffic's coming from. Is it from the United States? What countries are they coming from? I mean, there's really no best time, in my opinion, to post. If you have a loyal fan base, when you post, they're going to come eventually. But there are ways to look at that type of stuff and kind of have a better idea. Like you have the power to have those analytics and make more educated decisions and not just guessing. So
for sure.
No, really, really cool story, guys, from both of you. I think, what I'm really trying to drive home here is just the longevity and the patience and the consistency aspect of doing this, and not just the consistency of uploading beats every day or once a week. It's the consistency of being a bigger and better business altogether, understanding, what's holding you back. What are your roadblocks? Understanding new technology, new ad platforms, and just studying, who's doing what. Take some risks. I tell people all the time, take some risks on artists that you personally believe in. Instead of chasing down the same keywords all the time, maybe invest some of your time and resources into actually helping develop an artist you believe in, or maybe you don't even know them, but you just really believe in what they're doing and start tagging your stuff that way. Because eventually, if something pops off, you're going to kind of jump up the charts because you've been there before the curve again. So it's kind of like the stock market. You got to take some risks, some investments, and you're not going to hit all the time either. Like
every beat is an asset, man.
Yeah.
I say we've spent way more time on research than making beats. Like whether it be courses or just any information, just brainstorming ideas. Like we spent way more time on that than making beats.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to.
60-40, I guess. 60% like whether it's marketing, communicating
Yep.
with customers, etc. 40% making music, tops.
Yep.
For
No,
sure.
that's a great point, actually. What customer service? How do you guys approach that? I guess Tantu, let's start with you really quick. How
Well,
do you approach customer service? I mean, like, what is your motto? What is your core values as a brand?
I try to reply to every single person, even if their messages are just weird. You know, like sometimes you guys get that all the time probably as well. Like you will
Yep.
get
For
emails
sure.
with the whole email in the subject line, like these kind of things.
Yeah, man.
I will just I will
Definitely.
literally reply like, hey, just give them feedback as well. Like, yeah, maybe next time don't try to write your email there. But so I try to be friendly to everyone, anyone who is reaching out to me. I do use a lot of automated messages, like automated text, like within Instagram and within my email, because I get the same questions all the time.
Mhm.
Can I use this beat for non-profit? Can I get
Yeah,
this
yeah.
exclusively?
Yep,
Where
same.
can I get the beats? How does licensing work, etc. So I definitely use a lot of well, it's not automated messages, but like the what do you say?
Template
Like
kind of.
templates. Yeah, I
Canned,
use templates for that.
canned responses too. You get the
Yeah.
same
Yeah,
terminology.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
and yeah, like customer service wise, that's it. I mean, I do email every person who buys a beat from me. I email them personally as well. It's a template as well. I just fill out the name, but
That doesn't
it's
matter.
bro, it works.
No,
It works
you're
so
working
well, bro.
Yeah.
smarter. You're working smarter, not harder.
That
Like,
creates a
Yeah,
connection.
nope.
For
So
sure.
yeah.
Sure.
yeah.
Do
Like
you
I
ever
have,
offer coupon codes with it, or do you like
yeah,
what's the
yes, yeah.
strategy?
Sometimes I don't do that in the thank you email, but I do ask people to send over the song they created with the beat. Because like for me, it's still even after 10 years, it's still genuinely helpful to hear the songs people make on my beat because it really makes me realize the way people interpret my arrangements and stuff. So I can really learn a lot from that. And
No,
but
amazing.
yeah, on the
Yeah.
subject of customer service, I guess just try to respect everyone and reply to everyone, but in an effective way, because otherwise it's not doable. And but also sometimes tell myself, okay, today I'm not going to communicate with anyone because it's I just really want to get into the zone.
Yeah, no, you got to have mental
I know.
clarity days. That makes sense.
Mhm.
And again, that goes back to researching and having a strategy with your release schedule, with your customer service schedule. I mean, as long as you're not like hanging people on for a week for a response, I think there's some wiggle room to, have days where you can just focus on creating or whatever it is or research day. So it's just all about having a plan, in my opinion. Pink Fader, how do you guys handle your customer service? I think it's something that's not talked about enough, and I think it's a huge thing. Huge. Because
For
I
sure.
value people based on how they treat me if I'm purchasing something from them. So how do you guys handle that?
For sure. For sure. Well, we're definitely connected to Aweber. We have Aweber connected. So, once someone buys, they automatically get an email just thanking them for being a customer and purchasing tracks and licensing. And then we also ask them to send in their music as well, just so we can hear and connect with them.
Smart.
And to your point, Tattoo, as far as like the customers with like the wild and crazy questions, like, same here. Like we treat everyone the same. At the same time, like if someone may, because we get a lot of times, hey, I need to learn how to get promotion for my music or whatever. But at first, we would run ourselves dry trying to answer every single question and be an expert in every single area when really it's like, hey, our job here is to focus on the beats and make sure you have a good sound. And
Mhm.
so we learned quickly that, hey, we'd run ourselves dry trying to answer everyone's questions the perfect way. And so we learned our role, learned our lane, and we started to, when we get questions like that, we refer them to people who can answer those questions and say, hey, that's not necessarily our lane, but we could help you with this.
Mhm.
I forward people
Just
to
to kind of
DJ
get,
Pain One all the time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
That poor guy. I forward him emails too.
Sorry, Pain. Sorry, Pain.
Yeah, he gets it.
He's always so mad. That's why. No, I'm joking. It's my guy. That is
Yeah,
funny.
man. That's
Oh
the
man.
guy. That's the guy. But yeah, just customers always right. Everything is just perspective, man. No one's right or wrong. Even when people may have complaints or anything, we always like to see their side. They're real people at the end of the day. So it's like you look at what they're trying to say through their lens, and even if they may technically be wrong, still understand where they're coming from and what they're trying to say and the outcome that they're trying to get. And you just find that middle ground.
Absolutely. I know we touched on doing a lot of research and we kind of drove that point home, and I think it is important. I just saw in the comments somebody said 80-20, 80% marketing, 20% beats, which I honestly don't think we should be putting percentages on this type of stuff, in my opinion. I think if that was true, I mean, you could have the absolute worst beats in the world or the worst brand in the world, and you could go crazy with marketing. You still probably won't be successful. So I think you don't want to skip over the fact that content is still king and word of mouth is still the best form of marketing in the world, in my opinion. I will believe what Tantu and Pink Fader tells me before I read some crazy stuff online. I'm going to take their valued opinion in music and check it out based on just some random person hitting me up. Yeah. So you have to understand that, your content, if you make amazing content and you really hone in on that content, as well as still doing these other things, I just believe content is still king, and you really need to hone in and be the best at what you're doing and then develop all these other things as well. I wouldn't put numbers on it because you got to put a number on research. You got to put a number on, marketing, courses. You got to put a number on creating. It's just, you're going to drive yourself insane. I would just say focus on your content, make sure you're having fun, and always try to get better. And then before you go ham with the marketing, make sure the content's there. But
in your catalog, right? Like
that's it.
Yeah, right. You need catalog before you're gonna invest if you were gonna invest money into marketing or a lot of time, and therefore, like, if you only have 5 beats online, like,
you do need some.
What's the point?
Catalog,
something going, for sure.
Listen, someone in the comments said as well, and I like bringing these comments in because I think they're relevant to the conversation. Someone said, well, numbers, make you look bigger. So if someone sees you have 1 million plays, which is, facts for you guys in the call right now. Yeah, I'm sure people are going to think that. But again, at the end of the day, I don't think that is a driving factor. I think as long as the content is amazing and you're doing the content the right way and having fun and it shows, and you really hone in on your fan base and grow out that way and then add all these other elements, I think that's how you win. I don't think it's, faking the funk, saying, hey, I got all these streams and you're putting out one beat every 6 months. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. I just wouldn't get too attached to this numbers game of percentages and this and that. Make content.
I know artists. I literally know artists who are only searching for people who have like few plays, who are like the underdogs. Like, because then when they buy a beat, they are almost the only one who got it.
Yep.
So like, there's even power in having small numbers.
For sure.
I'd rather have 10 real fans, like hardcore loyal fans, than like 100,000 fake ones. Because I mean, really, you're just at the end of the day, you're just talking to yourself. You know what I mean? Like nobody's actually digesting the content and getting something out of it and sparking it.
Makes sense,
like, doesn't make any sense. But yeah, let's not get too tied up on that. But I just wanted to kind of entertain those questions because I thought they were relevant to our conversation. I want to play a couple tracks. So I pulled some of your top tracks. This is something anybody can do. It's not any secret, analytics that I'm pulling. If you just go on their pages and then filter down by top selling tracks, you can see. So for Pink Fader, I pulled your top 3 tracks. So your first one is Girls Like You, that has 20.8 thousand streams. Your second one is Happy For You, that has 30.8 thousand streams. And then your third one is Revolution, that has 24.2 thousand streams. What's up with the word "you," man? Is the word "you" just like hitting with your guys? Girls Like You, Happy For You. It should have been Revolution For You, but
that's funny. You
didn't even realize
you pulled that out. I didn't really. I mean, I guess it's that emotional connection. Usually, as far as like naming beats, it's not really a theme per se. It's usually per track. It's just kind of, hey, what are we feeling? What does this feel like? Or if this was a movie, like, what would be the title of it, So, but yeah, the "you" seems to work now that you say that.
Listen, that's the first thing that jumped out to me. Something I noticed on the last show that I did last month, I forget who, it was GC. And I messed up. I said one syllable words, and everyone was clowning me, but it's all good. I meant to say one word words. So like honey.
We do try to keep things short though.
Like, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah.
I noticed that pattern with people, and then again, going back to the color scheme of things, I noticed GC specifically too. Would have say a beat called Honey, and it would have like a golden honey like background, like just stuff that grabs your eye. And this is all branding and all again research that goes into your branding. I think this is stuff that you really need to look into, everybody. But yeah, let's play one or two of these tracks real quick. And then we'll play some stuff from Tantu because I want to pick his brain about his titling and stuff like that. One second. Cool. When I share this, guys, and I hit play, just mute yourselves. And then when we're done, just unmute, just so there's no feedback.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know when, though. All right. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yep.
Can see it.
All right. So like I said, you can just go to your tracks on the marketplace. You can filter down by top selling. So this isn't any
nude.
Well, I was going to play nude, but I wanted to keep the show PG. I'm joking. All right, let's check out let's check out Girls Like You. And we haven't even reposted this. I don't even know if we've playlisted this. So I mean, like this was right from when you guys joined. It looks like too, because I think you joined, like I said, in August 2018.
And I must mention, thank you guys.
Okay,
thank you guys so much, man, for the playlisting as well. Like that, of course, obviously, that that was the backbone to a lot of our success on BeatStars when we first came in. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that's something we take a lot of pride in, and we're just continuing to add new playlists. Like I said, artists and people and brands that we believe in, and you might have never heard of. Like, there's just a lot of stuff we're doing, which is really cool. But all right, yeah, let's check out Girls Like You, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato track. Who else did you tag here? Justin Bieber. So some pop vibes. Let's check it out. When I hit play here, guys, just mute real quick, and then actually, I gotta add the. Okay, it's on.
Should be good.
All right, here we go. I think. There we go.
We're glad you're investing in yourself. Looks like you found the perfect track. Looks like you found the perfect track. fresh new music.
Crazy joints. Everybody watch. If you want to listen to more, go to their account, Pig Fader. You guys got to unmute yourself. I muted you all.
Okay.
Even though you guys got headphones on, it still gets
Thanks,
feedback.
man.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where that was. I see it now.
Okay. Yeah, we found it.
Oh, good. But yo, crazy beats. What's up with the like little fire emojis? Does this work? Like, what? Just something you do for branding?
So we wanted to stand out, and we just thought nobody was doing it. So we just it worked. We were like, oh, it's popping up. So we just kept on doing it.
Just a little icing on the cake. You know, we're big on being creative with your marketing. So, you know, just finding extra cool ways to stand out. You know, that just happened to work for us.
I like it.
I appreciate that, man.
I do want to say one thing. We do use like a lot of vocals in our beats, but a lot of times those aren't like third-party samples. Like sometimes we'll go in there ourselves and create our own vocals. Like even in Happy For You, that was him.
Or the girls like you.
Oh yeah, girls like you.
Yeah.
That's fire. What something else I noticed too, man. I mean, obviously the beats, and again, going back to the content side, you guys are killing the content. Content is king, like I said. It's got just the quality and just the way it hits and just everything. It's just amazing to me. But one thing I noticed, and you're very welcome. The one thing I noticed though, when I was playing, you saw me clicking, is your pricing. So you have only two tiers. What's the strategy behind that? Is it the Costco strategy, and the Costco or Sam's Club or BJ's, any one of these wholesale places? Their strategy is they put one thing of an item in front of you, so you don't have to make a tough decision. Sometimes two. Is that the same strategy here? Did you think about that, or like what is the strategy, if any?
That's pretty much it. You know, simplicity. You know, people. It's easier to make a decision when you have two options as opposed to 10. Mm-hmm. If you have like 10, you're like, I don't know. You know, but you kind of we look at the needs of the market and see what people are looking for and try to consolidate all of that into two different options. But yeah, you hit it on the head. It's pretty much simplicity.
Yep.
And then it's crazy. It's awesome, by the way, but crazy. To me, it's crazy. At least somebody else might not think. I think it's crazy. Yeah. Crazy good. Pricing, man. Listen, if I'm onboarding a producer and they talk to me about pricing, I'm definitely not going to tell them to price their MP3s and wave at $99. And this again is nothing against you guys, but where did you come up with the pricing? And like, obviously, it's working. Again, like, what's the strategy behind that too?
Well, I was like, we like to run sales a lot.
Okay.
So we consistently have something going on. So if an artist comes in, I mean, they're at least going to get one extra beat. So, you know, you're actually not paying $99 for one. You're at least going to get two or more. You know, depending on
get one or buy one.
But they have to come in the door at $99. You know, so
smart.
And at the end of the day, like, you know, as long as the value is there, for the most part, we haven't found that artists are too picky on price anywhere as far as that entry level price, 100 and below, like 150, honestly, 150 and below. Like if the music works and it resonates with an artist, you know, they'll find a way to invest in themselves and license the track. So
and you know, people like high price tags. I mean, look at all the name brands we purchase for high prices. You know, like we want to be that luxury. You know.
No, it's smart, man. You're giving people the simplicity of two licenses. They only have to make, you know, it's either one or the other. You're running deals. So your price point may seem high, but you're kind of, you know, counteracting that of offering discounts. So I think, listen, it's a great strategy. It's obviously working. I was just curious because it's definitely not normal at all. From
it gives the producer room to work with discounts now, because now, I mean, if you're selling something for $30 and you're doing like, you know, 50% off or something, are you really making something?
Yeah, I don't really do that shit often.
So now you have a higher
my price
point.
Is low. It's quite low. But I think that's dope, man.
No, it's really interesting.
Dope to see it done.
I actually learned something today, to be honest, because I really didn't notice that, and now that I dove in and looked, It's definitely interesting. I think it just shows you that you don't have to be the same. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You can kind of just see what works for you. And just like I tell everybody that advertises and does, like, Instagram ads, stuff like that, it's all about testing at the end of the day. Nobody has like
what works for you, right?
Exactly.
What works for you. That's the most important part.
Exactly. So Tantu, just because we only have 10 minutes left. See, I told you the guys this would go fast. I didn't even ask all my questions, but Tantu, your top selling tracks, Damn, 47.6 thousand streams, Guilty, 14.3 thousand streams, Ill Mind, not Ill Mind the producer, but Ill Mind. I think this was a Hobson beat, so that makes sense. 18.1 thousand streams. Yeah, man, Damn has just really taken off. I feel like
that's been my best selling beat for 2 years already. I dropped it almost 2 years ago, man. It's that's a money maker right there.
Yeah.
Analyze that
Sweet,
shit, I guess.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and the licenses and the price point is really probably in the range I would probably, direct somebody. At the end of the day, I tell everybody they do whatever they want. They're their own business. But this is more in line, which, again, there's nothing wrong with what Pink Fader's doing. There's nothing wrong with what Tantu is doing. I think it's, again, about just figuring out what works for you.
With your audience as well. I found a lot of very, very like upcoming artists, like people just making their first song, trying to buy my beats, and I was like, I didn't really feel comfortable charging people who were literally like trying to test the waters. I didn't really feel comfortable to charge them a lot. So I figured I really wanted that $25 option for people, because I feel like $25, like, it's like a good dinner. It's
for sure.
Definitely. And I see you do free downloads for pretty much every beat too. So you allow them to have a free tag version. Pink Fader, do you have that too? I didn't look. I'm not going to lie. Do you guys offer free downloads on everything, or do you do any? Do you pick and choose?
We don't, but we're not necessarily against it. It's so many different facets to this business, and it's like, you kind of pick and choose kind of what you want to focus on, but that's something for us to look into.
And some people do email us and ask if they can have a free download to test it out, and we send it.
And we'll give a free license every now and then too. So
because for me it was like people were taking my beats off YouTube anyway, so it was like I was like, I might as well, bro, because
just get it out there, man.
Might as well get an email in return or something,
exactly.
I feel you. So all right, cool, let's check out Damn. I'm interested to hear this again. I don't think I've listened to this beat in a while. When did you drop this? Actually, I think early on, didn't you?
August
2018. Both of you guys, both in August.
Good year.
Okay. It was a good year. Both of your top 20 tracks were in
month.
August.
Yeah, man. What happened in August?
I don't know.
I don't know. All right, let's check out Damn though. Let's see what it's hitting for.
Tantu, teaching you the language of beats.
Okay, Dr. Dre vibes. Crazy, crazy stuff, man. I wish I could play all these tracks in full. You guys can unmute. Let me stop sharing here. But just great,
Nice,
great,
nice.
great stuff.
Go.
Just yeah, it's just
Oh
and
man, that was super.
yeah, there's just people in the comments are saying it's amazing to hear all these different types of vibes, and a lot of people think BeatStars and just online beats in general is just all trap stuff, and I would say you were 1,000 bajillion gillion, not even a real number, wrong. Like there is so much incredible music on BeatStars that I find on a daily basis, that the A&R team finds on a daily basis. And it's just there's really no rules. Just make what inspires you, make what you love. And make the music incredible. As you can hear, every beat we just heard was incredible, just sounded amazing. And then you got to do the extra work of the research and having a consistent schedule and all these things. So I know we only got a couple minutes, but I did want to touch on really quick, if you guys can each give me like a two minute spiel on what you do to drive traffic. I know a lot of people are interested in that. So like Pink Fader, what are you guys actively doing, or what have you done actively in the past? If you've stopped recently, or what you're doing now, are you doing ads? Are you uploading to YouTube? Are you uploading to any other places? Like what's your strategy?
So, like we mentioned before, SEO was kind of like that core. Unfortunately, a couple years ago, we got hit by Google with who knows what kind of penalty it was. But for those of you that don't know, every so often, every 2 years or so, it's actually more often than every two years, but about every 2 years, Google releases like a major algorithm update, and the search engine rankings, they start moving around and adjusting. Some people lose ranking, some people gain ranking.
Like
Anyway,
YouTube.
a couple, yep, just like
Yep.
YouTube, just like YouTube. And so a couple years ago, we got hit, and I mean we fell off, and we lost a lot of traffic, and it for a good minute we didn't know how to handle it. We weren't honest with ourselves. We just kind of tried to act like nothing happened. It was a stressful period for us. But eventually, we had to kind of strap our boots on and say, hey, where are we going wrong? What's wrong? And how can we fix this? And so we decided to kind of take matters in our own hands, and we started doing Google PPC ads. So basically, instead of ranking in the search engines naturally, we just started to pay Google in order to rank up there. And so now that's pretty much our main thing, Google PPC and mastering that platform and stuff like that.
What are you targeting? Mind me asking you. Are you going after like specific brands? Are you targeting specific videos? Or are you just really? I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole and be on here for 9 hours. But
yeah. I mean,
the quick version.
The quick version is buyer intent keywords. Keywords that show, hey, whoever's typing this in, they're looking to license beats, or they're looking to possibly license beats. So things like buy beats, things like how to lease beats. You start thinking of these keywords, and you can actually use different keyword research tools to see what the search volumes for different keywords. And after doing all that research, you start to learn what keywords to try. And then, like you said about testing before, you test and see what works. And we kind of got our set of keywords that pretty much get us something predictable, something we can kind of measure week to week. So yeah, just the buyer intent keywords. Yep.
Got it.
And,
We
go
do have
ahead.
it. No, we do have the integration on BeatStars too, under the integration marketing integrations for TubeBuddy. So I mean, I know there's vidIQ and a couple others,
For sure.
but TubeBuddy is who we use, and who I've got to know really good people over there. So I mean, you guys, I believe they have a free version, and then it's like 10, 20 bucks a month. I think I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
if you're interested in that, I'm pretty positive they have a free version. Go over to the marketing integration section, check them out. But no, great advice, guys. Tantu, are you in this mode, or like what are you doing right now? Are you doing any paid advertising, paid marketing, or using free platforms to drive traffic?
I don't use. I probably monthly spend like only 100 to 150 bucks on marketing, actually, like on ads. I tried. I have a kind of different approach than most producers, I guess. What I really try to do is create entertaining social media content, whether like doesn't matter on what platform, fun beat videos, things like that, and I try to get people interested in my music from that point, and then for instance, in March, right before Corona hit, I was at Niagara Falls,
Mm-hmm.
and I made a video where I recorded the sound of the Niagara Falls, and I flipped that into a beat with a video, and that shit went kind of,
That's
I wouldn't
crazy.
say viral, but I guess like 20,000 organic views on Instagram and these kind of things, and I'm selling that beat as well. So I try to have like, I would call it like superhero content, like viral-ish content, which take quite some time to make, but are a lot of fun, and I can put a lot of creativity in that, and I guess that resonates with
Absolutely.
a certain segment of the market of people looking for beats, and that's how I'm getting a lot of organic traffic that way. So that would be my main hook.
Yeah, listen though, that's you're literally taking a beat or the creation of a beat and making more content out of that. So I think a lot of people have to just realize that at the end of the day, the beat is just not a beat. At the end of the day, you are just not a producer or a beat maker, whatever you want to call it. You guys are artists. What you have is multiple layers of content. TikTok has shown that how beats are making the beats are making the songs take off, and the tags too a lot of times, but not necessarily even the song. So my point is there's ways of taking a done production or a piece of content and making another piece of content out of it. And I hate to be the person who bring up Gary Vee, because I know he gets brought up a lot, and we actually talked to him pre-show. But the guy is 100% right about, he put out an article about how to make 100 pieces of content in a day or something. Just Google it, you can find it. But it's just simple ways of taking one piece of content and making it other pieces that you can extend out. Not saying everybody has to do that, but I think you can hone in on something like that, and not have to spend any ad money or not a lot of ad money. But you're having fun. And that was the one thing that stuck out from what Tantu just said. He said, I'm having fun, I'm being creative. And that's all it's about at the end of the day. And if that's what worked for you, that's awesome. I think I remember you made a picture. Didn't you make a funny picture of you holding money or something over your face?
I made like this meme. Yeah, it was like, it had like BeatStars integrated in that as well. It was like I don't know. I feel like when I see a lot of producers and yeah, just a lot of producers, I see they're taking their brand super seriously, and I respect that. But I sometimes feel like, and that just happens to me. I feel like I need to be like a counter voice to that, and like, yeah, I have a vibe of sometimes just say like, fuck it, it doesn't all matter that much. We're all just trying to make music, trying to make a living.
Yeah. Makes you seem more approachable too when you do that. So
yes, definitely, man. Yeah.
No, well, this episode was amazing. I can't wait to go back and timestamp it and pull some really cool content from it. I appreciate Tantu for being on, Pink Fader for being on. You guys are awesome. I think my main point that I would want everybody to take away from this show, and if you go back, and I would highly suggest you go back and watch episode 1 and episode 2 of the Road to 1 Million Streams, you're going to find a lot of similarities. But my main driving point that I want everyone to take from this is there is not one way to get to 1 million streams. There's not one way to be successful. I think there's millions of ways. So if you hear the chatter of selling beats online is dead, or you hear the chatter of there's too many big people overpowering the market, tune out all that noise, find out what makes you happy and what you have fun doing, research, make sure the content is amazing, and just stay on it. And this should be a multiple year plan. This isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. Multiple year plan, have it tracked out that way, and just keep going. I mean, if you really want this, you're going to find ways of doing it. So again, I appreciate you guys for coming on, and all the insight and information you guys gave was amazing. I learned a lot, to be honest.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having us.
Tantu, shout out your website real quick, man, and your Instagram and social medias, and I'll let Pink Fader do that.
Everything Tantu Beats at Tantu Beats. Just that's it. Just type it in anywhere.
Solid.
Pink Fader, where can they find you?
Pinkfader.com and at Pink Fader everywhere. Spelled out the right way. PINKFADER.
Amazing.
That'll be it.
Go follow these guys, interact with them, follow them, learn from them. I just put up a cool comment that came in. Someone's been, since COVID started, it's been what, 3-4 months. We started this online live streaming thing, and we've talked a lot. We've dropped a lot of gems, and it's amazing when somebody can come in here and say that over the last 90 days they've made $5,000 based off the we're all giving in here.
That's huge.
So, shout out to you, Cloud9. But again, thank you guys so much. Everybody be safe out there. If you guys need anything from me, you know I'm here. In the meantime, we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
All right.
Cool. Take care.
Peace.